going on? Y'all ready? Y'all ready to do this? All right, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go, yo. All right. All right. What's going on? So, did y'all go to church this weekend? Did y'all go to church Sunday? Man, I'm gonna have to be honest with you. I didn't go to church this Sunday, but I did tune in. You know, a lot of churches have it to where they'll stream it live on, different social media platforms. And because I didn't go Sunday morning, I was up late the night before working, and I just was too tired. I was exhausted. I mean, I did get up to go, and I said, okay, let me just lay down for 10 more minutes, and bam, next thing I know, it was already 11:30, and I'm like, dude, this is crazy. But anyways, I did tune in to watch, what was taking place this past Sunday. And with it being, the Sunday right after, Good Friday 2, right? Right after being after what took place Friday, I was just waiting for my church to say something about what took place Friday. So I'm sitting there watching, and, I tune in before the pastor goes on stage, because they do worship singing and stuff like that beforehand, and they do some announcements. And I waited until the pastor got on stage, and then I'm sitting there listening. I'm saying, okay, I was completely waiting for the pastor to mention what took place Friday, because we're talking about, this is the pastor in the church. This is the church that I attend. Right. So I'm sitting there watching it, and a couple minutes go by, and he makes a couple more announcements himself. And then, okay. And he still didn't say anything about what took place Friday. And then I'm waiting some more. And then he still didn't say anything about Friday. And the next thing I know, he's getting into his sermon of the day, which has nothing to do with what took place Friday. Not a single time did the pastor mention what took place Friday. I was so beside myself. And I'm sitting there looking at this, and I'm kind of getting irritated. So I put a comment, not being mean. I'm just like, why is he not saying anything? I mean, I'm not saying that you need to change your entire sermon, but technically you probably should have, right? I think what took place Friday is one example that, if you have it all planned out for XYZ to take place during, your sermon, this happens, you might need to change it. This is like emergency, give God glory from what took place on Friday. So what I did is I put a comment on one of the socialist media platforms, and I just said I was hoping that he would mention with some, just something briefly about what took place Friday. Well, one of the moderators on there sent me a message, replied back to it and said, hey, Will, thank you for your input, but we're not going to interject politics in today's sermon. We're only talking about the topic at hand. And I said, what? It got to the point I thought I was literally talking to a liberal on the other end. And they said, well, we're going to respect all sides of the matter. What? There's only one side of this that is correct, one side that is good, one side that is for life. It ticked me off to no end. And you know what? I can handle going out talking to all of these crazy people out in the street. I can handle, confronting them, and they're yelling at me, and, we're going back and forth. Sometimes I yell at them, in the fun games, we go outside and play, right? But when it comes to the church, and it's people in the church that literally sit there and say that we're going to respect both sides. One side is calling for death of children. One side is calling for life of the child, the unborn child. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, are you kidding me right now? And I just got so agitated. I said, I cannot believe this. Now, granted, the pastor didn't mention it. And I'm kind of wondering, why didn't he say anything? Because when Ukraine popped off, the very next Sunday after Ukraine popped off, he mentioned it. He didn't take the whole sermon and talk about Ukraine. They actually had videos from Ukraine because there's a church that they're supporting in Ukraine. It was fine and all dandy. No issue. People in harm's way, the church is supposed to be there for support. No issues. But not a single word about what took place Friday in the church. And you know what I'm finding out? It's not just the church that I used to attend. Well, you know what? I'm gonna go back again Friday. I'm going to confront the pastor. I'm not gonna be all agitated and everything. I'm just gonna ask the question. I just want to know why. Did the pastors throughout, did they get a memo saying we will not mention what took place Friday? Well, this is such a glorious thing that took place. And I just want to know. What happened? Why didn't you even mention it? You could take in 2 minutes and then say, look, we want to acknowledge what God has done. We want to acknowledge that lives will be saved. That's all you had to do and move on. That's all you had to do, but not a peep. Not a single word. And see, what's really kind of disturbing because before in the past, the pastor has mentioned about the life of a child in the womb. Seriously. So maybe the pastor didn't know it took place Friday. Let me give the benefit of the doubt. Nope, don't believe it. Because every single church in the United States of America and even across the world heard what happened on Friday here in the United States of America. Across the world. You can't tell me that they didn't hear about it. Every single person on the planet heard about it. Anybody who's paying attention to about what's going on heard about what took place Friday. Good Friday. And there's churches throughout the country and even the world that's pushing back on it. There's churches, there's people that call themselves Christians that are pushing back on it. There's people that say that they believe in God and believe in God's word, pushing back on what happened on Friday. We are living in the last days, people. If you don't see it yet, then you don't want to see it. That's what it is. If you don't see it, you don't want to see it. You're like, nope, I'm not going to look at it. I'm not going to pay attention to it. I don't want to believe it. That's what you're doing. If you don't see what's happening right now. I can't tell you how many people send me so many messages from Friday until now. Just some great deal more, just extremely positive people just saying, well, this is what we've been fighting for. This is such a great thing. Overwhelmingly positive messages. But then there's been a lot of despicable, disgraceful messages targeted at me. Not just me, but it's happened to multiple people. These people are so angry right now. They don't know. They're like coming outside of themselves. I mean, it's like the demon in them has just completely taken over their bodies and have them convulsing and just screaming and yelling and cursing and wanting to strangle somebody, wanting to physically harm somebody. They're telling people to take to the streets. If you think that it's not going to get worse, then you've been asleep. These people are not going to they're not going to let up. These people are so angry right now. It's like they lost the Civil War all over again. That's how they're acting. Like they lost the Civil War all over again. They're acting like they lost access or they lost ownership to their property again. That's how they're acting. It's the same group of people. It's the same side that lost the Civil War. And they're upset to the point right now they're telling people to take to the streets. These people are despicable. These people do not care. These people want to tear down America. These people want to destroy what it is to be good. They do not care. These people are 100% despicable. These people are going to the extreme. And right now, these people cannot help themselves. They're so angry, and I'm gonna try to get through these really quick because it's just entirely too much for me to show you. I would be on here probably 5 hours if I were to show you everything that I have, because it's just so much. It's just entirely too much. But I'm trying to get to the key points tonight. Do me a favor, if you haven't already, please share this video out. Hit the share button on this. I know I started early because I'm gonna try to get all this in. Do me a favor, hit the share button. A lot of people say, oh, wow, Will came on early tonight. Yes, I did. And it's for a reason. And it's mainly because I have to, you know what? I truly believe, and I'm taking ownership of it. I truly believe, because I truly believe that God put me here in this day and age for this reason, for Ephesians 5:11. I truly believe that. I truly believe that, because I was doing Ephesians 5:11 before I even read it and understood what it meant. I've been doing it. So let me just get to it here. Before I go to this absolute crazy stuff, this insane stuff, I want to show you something that is extremely positive. Just like Friday was completely positive. Friday was a positive thing. And I told people Thursday night that they're going to be violent. And I didn't say it's a possibility. I said, you know what? I'm not, I said they're possibly going to be violent. No, I said they're going to be violent because I see the writing on the wall. And sure enough, the left, they came out and they were violent. And it's, again, not claiming to be a prophet, claiming to have a crystal ball, claiming to be anything other than seeing the writing on the wall. That's all that I claim, because I see a pattern. That's all it is. I'm just paying attention. I don't claim to be anything but a flawed man. That's all I can claim. Listen to this positive message here. The Supreme Court ruled in favor of freedom of speech and religious liberties. Have y'all seen this clip? This is such a phenomenal thing. Do you remember the football coach that went to the 50-yard line and he would pray after the game, and he would pray to God in the name of Jesus? Well, some of the players, and I'm willing to bet that it was their parents that got them to go up there and say, when you see your coach doing that, you tell him to stop. I'm willing to bet it was the parents that did it, these despicable parents. So because a few students did it, they fired the coach. And it's been in I guess the court system and waiting for the Supreme Court for 6 years. Well, today or yesterday, it finally came through for him. And he's smiling from ear to ear. Let me play this. It's a beautiful story.
Coach Joe Kennedy today looking at the ultimate vindication in his lawyer, Kelly Shackelford, president and CEO of First Liberty Institute. Welcome to you both. Coach, let's get your reaction first.
I really don't know what to say. I just can't stop smiling. And, thank God and thank everybody that supported me. And I found out that I'm not insane. It's absolutely true of all the facts of the case. And it just feels good to know that the First Amendment is alive and well.
I just have one question for you now, Coach. Are you heading back to the field?
Soon as the school district says, hey, come back, I am there. Absolutely.
Have they given you any indication that's the case?
I mean, we just found out this morning, so it's early in Bremerton, so they're all waking up to that news, and I expect some phone calls today from them.
You know what? They're probably like cringing right now, saying, "We don't want him back. We don't want him back. We don't want him back. He's going to be praying again." I mean, this is crazy, right? But this sets a precedence. This is such a beautiful story. Look at him. He's such a beautiful smile. Such a beautiful smile. And he wasn't harming anybody. All he wanted to do was go on the 50-yard line. He wasn't forcing anybody. All he was doing was going on the 50-yard line and praying. And I'm assuming, I mean, I didn't watch any of the games, but I'm assuming that he went to the 50-yard line and prayed whether they won or lost.
I'll get more reaction to that in just a moment. To your lawyer now, your team has certainly made the case that you had the right to kneel in prayer on the 50-yard line. And your point was that this was not a form of coercion, although to Shannon's point, there were players who came forward to the coach and said they were not comfortable with this. So what was the case that you built over time on this?
It's pretty basic, Sandra, and that is free speech and free exercise are both protected under the First Amendment. And whether that's a teacher bowing their head over their meal or whether that's coach going for 15 to 20 seconds after the game and saying a prayer, a silent prayer, you have a right to do that. So if the government is going to infringe upon that, and in this case, really fire him because he exercises First Amendment rights, they've got to have some sort of very serious justification for that, and they didn't have anything like that. This idea that somehow if players see him across the field, that is enough to take away his First Amendment rights. Not only a coach, but a guy who spent 20 years in the Marines fighting for our freedoms. That's not the way this country works. And so I think everybody's going to see, and I'm so glad for Joe, 6 years of fighting. He will be back on that field. That's what the case was about. He didn't ask for money. He just wanted his job back and to be able to go on the field after the game and pray. And this fall, when the games start, that's what he'll be doing. And but his case ended up being bigger because it protected so many other people. A really broad opinion that I think is going to provide a lot of protections for a lot of Americans under the First Amendment.
Coach, just reading a bit from Justice Neil Gorsuch's opinion on this case, saying the Constitution and the best of our traditions counsel mutual respect and tolerance. He says not censorship and suppression for religious and non-religious views alike.
Boom. And you know the left, they're angry right now because he's going to be able to go to the 50-yard line and pray. They're angry. They're livid. And they're going to remain that way because they do not want you to pray to God. These people are straight up evil. We are living in the days that the Bible talked about. We're in it right now. And these people, they're expressing it. They're showing it, how evil they can be. Now, let me get to another one here because I want to show y'all something. I know y'all don't like the Communist News Network. I understand. I get it. But I want to show you one from this eunuch. Okay. Tucker coined the term of calling Brian Stelter a eunuch because he kind of reminds us, I guess, the eunuch in Game of Thrones. I mean, he does look like a eunuch. I mean, it is what it is. But anyways, listen to Brian Stelter. I'm not going to play this whole thing, but he's gonna talk about how the violence. He talked about how the violence, and they're trying to make it look like that, both sides have been violent. No, there's not video after video with conservatives going out attacking anybody. There are no videos of it. They keep saying that the right wing is violent, but there's no videos. And of course, they always go back to, one particular day on Capitol Hill. But they don't talk about all the people that's been attacked out in the streets. No one was physically harmed, by people trying to have their grievances heard. But listen to the eunuch.
The specter of political violence is now a daily story in the United States. Every single day. Political scientists, folks who study this subject for a living, say they see lots of warning signs that it's getting worse, that the country is at risk of a downward spiral.
And most of this is because of the liberal mainstream media inciting violence. They were encouraging people to, protest outside of the Supreme Court justice's home. They were encouraging it. They kept showing it over and over how Jen Psaki was saying, as long as they do it peacefully. Y'all remember that? Well, it was already against the law. So she incited violence as well, because they know very well that anytime you tell leftists to go out and protest at something, they're going to be violent because that's in their nature. That's who they are.
So it's imperative for the news media to take these threats seriously. This month has seen extremists caught with riot gear near a pride parade in Idaho. An unstable man arrested near Justice Brett Kavanaugh's home and charged with attempted murder.
You hear that? An unstable man. He was a leftist. That's a prime example of what I was talking about. He took all the information that was coming out of the liberal media and he acted on it. And then he said an unstable man. They create these monsters and then they're trying to act like, oh, we're just reporting on it.
And so many other examples. Thankfully, they usually don't boil over to physical violence, but look at this episode. It easily could have. Republican lawmaker Dan Crenshaw being harassed by far-right guys who tried to pick a fight with him.
You hear that? Who tried to pick a fight with him. And you can see the guy, he's walking there. He has it look like he has his phone and his camera and a microphone. That's not trying to pick a fight. You just have people that support Dan Crenshaw. With Dan Crenshaw, in my opinion, he's a straight up rhino. Straight up rhino. He's all for the red flag laws. He already made it clear. Straight up rhino. And the guy was he just wanted to ask some questions. But Brian Stelter trying to attack Dan Crenshaw, because other than that, they don't have anything.
Could have. Republican lawmaker Dan Crenshaw being harassed by far-right guys who tried to pick a fight with him. Violent imagery is the theme of this new campaign ad by disgraced former Missouri Governor Eric Greitens. He's running for Senate now and wielding a gun and saying he's going hunting for fellow Republicans who've disappointed him. It's that threat of violence that is so egregious. And it can succeed in getting people to sit down and shut up. Outside Houston, for example, an Iraq War vet and professional soccer player was going to be the grand marshal for a local 4th of July parade until conservative commentators on the web attacked her support for gun control and her comments in favor of transgender rights. She withdrew from the parade, citing threats.
He withdrew.
Here's another one from outside Asheville, North Carolina. Restaurant owner faces threats after hosting drag show.
Now, let's see. I have an issue with this because they get harassed. They call it threatening and, being active violence because they're getting harassed because people do not want these dragon queens performing for kids. See, not a single time does this eunuch go and talk about how bad it is for them to be targeting children. He doesn't mention that at all. Why isn't he not talking about that? Why is that not an issue? Why is that not a problem? See, they want everyone to believe that all of this violence, all of the crime that we've been seeing is only coming from the right. And just a little bit comes from the left. Or when the left is upset because of stuff like what happened on Friday, then all of a sudden they have an excuse. Then all of a sudden they can do it. And then all of a sudden, then Brian Stelter, the eunuch, and the rest of the left all try to act like that it's only right-wingers that go out and be violent. Well, look at this one. This happened over the weekend. When I told people they were going to go out and be violent, police officers having to being surrounded and having to protect themselves. Look at this. Look at that. So you can barely see it, but they're actually pushing on the cops. Some of them are hitting on the cops. Let me ask you, how many times have you seen conservatives do this? I can't tell you how many times that I've gone to events. And let me give you an example. One time I went to an event in California. While I was here in Texas, I flew to California and I met my buddy Ben Bergquam there and a couple other people. So we're at the Capitol in California, and then the cops start pushing people back. The people didn't fight with the cops. They just complied. Every single time. The cops push back on conservatives because they know conservatives are going to comply. Okay, because you know what? We're on your side. We know you're just doing your job, even though you're doing your job and you're listening to a communist tyrant governor like Gruesome Newsom. But we know you're just doing your job, right? You're just doing your job. You're violating your oath, but you're just doing your job. We get it, but we still don't physically fight with cops. The left, they constantly fight with cops. And they try to act like none of this is bad. Now, this is when we get into the crazy stuff. I told you I had some crazy stuff to share with you. They are so mad. And this is a straight up demon here. So if you have children, please, you might take them out the room because this is a straight up demonic demon. This demon might give them nightmares. You have to keep these demons like this away from your children. I'm telling you, demons like this will groom your children. Demons like this will love to sexualize your children. Demons like this. Listen to this demon.
Get angry! This is atrocious! This is war on women! How f***ing dare the Supreme Court do this shit? F*** you, Kavanaugh! F*** you, Gorsuch! Gorsuch for lying under oath when you were confirmed, saying that you believed that this was settled. Women will die, but as long as it fits your Christian God narrative, it must be correct. White women of privilege will still have access after their senators f*** them.
So, I cut out the curse words and stuff, but obviously you know what she's saying. I did cut it out, so it shouldn't be registering, shouldn't be showing up. But how is it that white women are going to be the only ones that's going to have access to health care? How does that happen? Because if you're whatever state you're in, like California or Nazi New York, you still have the option to go and suicide your baby, go and kill your baby, right? You still have that option. So my question is what
people of color,
which women are people of color not going to be able to have access to health care? Which ones? See, this is just them mouthing off something. This is just a demonic demon saying something, trying to prove a point that there is no point to prove. Listen.
Poor working mothers will not. Young women who are victims of sexual assault will not. Women who found out that their child is not viable in the third trimester will not. And who the knows what's going to happen ectopically, because half you men prove that you don't know what an ectopic pregnancy is. How do I have less rights than my mother? Not everybody believes in your sky daddy. Not everybody believes in your cloud papa. The fact that you tied religion to your decision is pathetic.
You see this? This is exactly how the demons think. And she's talking about your sky daddy, right? Because she's a total atheist. That's a term that atheists use, that reject God. She exists, right? The trees and everything around her exists, but she don't want to acknowledge the creation, the creator, right? She don't want to acknowledge it. That's her own doing. But she's upset. She's upset because they know morally you should not be taking the life of a child. See, demonic demons are completely fine with it. They have no issues with it. They see nothing wrong with it. They're happy by doing it.
Rolling back the clock on women's rights and bodily autonomy is pathetic. You fucking conservacunts love fetuses.
You hear this? Now she's saying that we love fetuses.
You love fetuses. You are pro-birth.
Yes, I am pro-birth. Think about it. This demonic demon actually came out a canal. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Out of one of, they took it and put the kitty cat hats on. She actually came out of one, right? She successfully came out of one. So is she saying that she's not pro-birth? I mean, seriously, she came out the birth canal, just like the rest of us. Well, some of them had C-sections. Okay, but you know what I'm talking about. Listen to her.
You are pro-amniotic sac because fetuses can't talk and they can't vote against you. But they make a good narrative for your fucking re-election campaigns. Pathetic!
So, there's this thing right now where they're saying 2 out of 3 people are for murdering the baby. 2 out of 3 in the country. So if that were true, then why are they so upset? The reason why they are upset because they know majority of the nation is not for taking the life of the innocent child. They know this. That's the reason why they're so angry. Demons are angry right now.
This will never stop abortions, ever. It stops them from being safe. It stops women from dying from them. It stops women from having back alley abortions or throwing themselves downstairs. All you did was hurt women.
Okay, so let me bring something in, and this is not me being insensitive, but if you're throwing yourself downstairs, I mean, you did that. You might want to. You're going to end up suffering the consequences of that result. You just throw yourself down the stairs, or if you take a hanger, or if you go in a back alley, whatever it is you do. If you do that to yourself, you should have to take responsibility for butchering yourself. I don't think that anybody else should take responsibility for your stupid actions, like this demonic demon. She wants all of us to say that, oh, so they don't be stupid. This is what it's like. They don't in the state of California, San Francisco, they have these heroin shops, and they're saying for them to shoot up heroin safely because heroin is already illegal, right? It is illegal. Heroin is illegal. But they created these heroin shops in San Francisco so they can come shoot up heroin safely. Do you hear that insanity? The answer is no. If you get caught with heroin, where are they getting the heroin? If they walk through the door with heroin, why aren't the cops there? You got any heroin? Yeah, I'm getting ready to go in and shoot up safely in this heroin shop. Put him in handcuffs. That's what should happen, but that's not the case. They're trying to make it okay for you to do these wrong things, and then if you do the wrong things, they want to try to make it safe for you to go do more wrong. This is absolutely disgusting, and it's repulsive that these people are actually this way.
Women of color, BIPOC women, minority women, women who are in poverty, women who have to make a horrifying decision of their life versus the fetus. Most of the time, it's a clump of cells.
Cells, the clump of cells win.
Women get to relive their sexual assaults for life or are tied to their assailant. You care more about your guns than you do a woman's life.
Not true.
Proof every day.
Not true, because you can use your firearm to protect women. And I encourage every woman out there to learn how to use a firearm. Seriously. I mean, seriously. You need to know how to protect yourself.
FYI, there are children in the foster care system that you won't adopt. So,
they make it ridiculous on how much it costs to adopt children. I'm willing to do it. If I could afford it, I most definitely would do it. But they make the cost so high, and then for them, this is such a pathetic excuse for them to murder babies. Talking about, well, if you don't murder them, they're going to go to foster care. No, when the woman, instead of having women use it as birth control, because that's what's happening. And again, if we say that women are from incest and rape, if we say that percentage of the women, whatever it is 2.5%, whatever it is, can we say no to the other 7.5%, the 97.5%? Can we say no to the rest of that? Because that's what's happening here. But they don't care about that. They only care about butchering all of them.
Please tell me how you are pro-life. You are pro I get my way. I pray you never.
Wait a minute. She what? So first of all, she said we just want to get our way. They've gotten their way for 50 years. For 50 years, they've gotten their way. 63 million babies. I mean, were they trying to meet a quota for Satan? Were they trying to meet 100 million murdered babies? Isn't 63 million enough? I mean, if you ask my opinion, one is too many. But can we stop at 63 million? They don't want to stop at 63 million. You have companies right now that are encouraging their employees to travel to murder their babies. This is such a demonic thing that these companies are doing. They're actually encouraging their employees, travel to a state, go murder your baby, come back, and we'll pay you. We'll pay for your expenses. Do you hear this? I mean, this is like unreal. It's like they're doing everything they can. And it's not about women's rights, because women are not losing their rights. It's about doing the right thing. It's about not taking the life of a child. And then, listen.
Never get another restless night's sleep in your life.
And then, hold on, let me take it back.
I pray you.
She prays, right? So she doesn't believe in God, but she's praying. Who's she praying to? She's praying to Satan. That's who she's praying to.
I pray you never get another restless night's sleep in your life thinking about what you did to women. This is not over, not by a long shot. How dare you? Karma does not forget. And she may take some time to come back around, but she will get to you. Not on my watch, fuckers.
Somebody's angry. And you know what? Every time, I'm telling you, every single time that the left is this angry, it only means that something extremely positive has taken place. You know, like during the Civil War, when they lost the Civil War, when people like me became, as a result of the Civil War, people like me came free. And they've been angry ever since. They're still angry about it. That's why you think they're so keen on going after the NRA, because they're still extremely angry. I have another one that I want to show you here. This one is with Beetlejuice. She's angry too. Beetlejuice is so angry that she's ready to chew someone's head off. Don't say her name 3 times because she'll just pop up in your home. I mean, it's pretty disgusting, right? But listen to her. It's really short.
Because elections do matter. I'm going to remind you of what I said those few weeks ago. If Hillary Clinton had been the president, we wouldn't be sitting here having this horrible outcome in our country.
If Hillary Clinton won, you hear this? You hear this? If Hillary Clinton won, they're so angry. Let me just go to the next one here. Have y'all seen this one? This is another one that's just completely angry. I mean, just bat rabbit mad.
Yeah! Fucking fuck!
I mean, really? I mean, come on. I mean, for real. I mean, dude. I mean, really? Really?
Fuck!
I mean, dude. She set it up to throw the pillow down, and look at that. She said, "Okay, you ready?" She set up to throw the pillow down, like, "Oh, I'm so angry. I threw my pillow down, and I'm screaming, ah!" And then I'm hitting she threw the pillow down so she can, slam her knees down on the ground so they don't hurt. I mean, I get it. I'll probably do the same thing too. Don't want to hurt myself since I'm so angry. I mean, look at this. I mean, come on. See, this again, it's a demon inside. Do y'all see the spirit, the demonic spirit? Do you see it yet? This is uncalled for a grown woman to be doing this. I mean, literally a grown woman acting out like this. How many conservative Christians did y'all see do this after they didn't get something that they want? I mean, how many times? Seriously, how many conservative Christian women went online, did this same thing this demonic demon is doing because they didn't get what they want? How many times? I'm not going to hold my breath and wait for the answer. And I'm talking to liberals. Because see, liberals, they'll say, "Oh, there has to be one out there. I'm going to go look. And they'll look until they turn into skeletons because they'll never find one. It doesn't happen. Only these demonic demons do this. Literally angry, piping mad because they didn't get what they want. And then you have videos like this. And then you have the left. They constantly say that they don't go and call for violence. The left are saying that. But that's all the left been doing. AOC's call for violence, telling people to take to the streets. Mad Maxine Waters called for violence, telling people, to be violent. We're going to hit the streets. We're going to go out. And black women, like she's calling all black women. And I put this thing on Twitter saying, can we now get to 15%? As soon as you say that to leftists, especially black people, can we get to 15% now? You know what they do? They clam up. They shut down. They change the subject. It's like it doesn't register with them. I'm like, can we at least now get to 15%? Can we get 15? Can we get 15? We have the potential right now to have 15%. And then what's really amazing is that they try to say that what happened here is completely racist against people of color, because now more people of color are going to be in the planet, or at least the United States of America. Now listen to this.
If we want the future, we're going to have to fight for it, sisters and brothers and beautiful others. We are going to have to fight for it in these streets. And it's going to take a sacrifice. It's going to take a sacrifice, and you're going to get tired.
You hear this? It's going to take a sacrifice, and it's going to get tired. You're going to get tired. Listen.
But there is an illusion and a delusion of painless progress that too many people have gotten used to. You can't come out for one motherfucking afternoon and think you are finished when these fascists are preparing for civil war.
You hear that? She's saying the fascists are preparing for civil war. You know what she means by that? She's saying she's literally calling people like me a fascist. She's literally calling all Republicans, anyone on the right who wants to support the sanctity of life, regardless of the complexion, fascists. That's who she's calling fascists. She's saying because we want to keep the Second Amendment so we can protect our lives, protect our family, protect our property. She's calling us fascists. She's saying that we're preparing for civil war because they want to disarm everybody. No one's preparing. People should be preparing for what's about to come. I keep telling everybody that. And some people say, well, you're fear-mongering. You're fear-mongering. And you're fear-mongering. You're fear-mongering. I mean, it's like the craziest thing ever. It's the craziest thing ever. When I tell people to get ready and they go, oh, well, you're fear-mongering. What? It just means they haven't been paying attention. But she literally says it. Listen.
Finished when these fascists are preparing for civil war.
So the fascists are preparing for civil war. That's what she's saying. They're angry, and they're the ones taken to the streets being violent. They're the ones that hate life. They're the ones who's trying to destroy the most innocent of us all, and then they try to say they're losing their rights. Let me go to this one here now, because I want to share this with you here. This is on the Communist News Network, and there was a Trump rally, and there's a lady that was at the Trump rally. I don't know her name, and she made a comment, and she meant to say the right to life, the right to life, right? But she doesn't say right. She says white, right? So automatically they pick that up and say, oh, she's saying white people. See, now any other time they'll say that conservatives, Republicans, Christians, those on the right, they will say that people on the right are always lying. That's what they say. But in this case, when she made a mishap and said white, they're saying that she's being truthful now, right? Because it fits their narrative. Listen to this.
This movement to overturn Roe v. Wade is fueled by a number of things, like you just spelled out, including a fear of the black and browning of America. And then listen to what an Illinois representative said just last night at a Trump rally, spelling out why she believes overturning Roe v. Wade is a victory. Listen.
Okay. How is it that there's so many white people showing up to save black babies in the womb, but yet they're afraid of being replaced? Does that make sense to anybody? I mean, I'm trying to wrap my mind around it while I'm saying it. You have white people trying to save black babies' lives, but they're turn around and say that these same white people are afraid of being replaced. White people that believe in God understand the sanctity of life, no matter what the complexion is. They don't care about your complexion. If it's a baby, it's a baby. It's God's creation. These demonic demons here try to split up everything. Now listen to the lady that's on the stage with President Trump.
President Trump, on behalf of all the MAGA patriots in America, I want to thank you for the historic victory for white life in the Supreme Court yesterday.
You hear that? So she was saying the right to life, right? She's talking about the right to life, right? But she made a mishap there, and I completely understand what she's trying to say, right? And there's black people standing behind her. There's black people behind her there. People don't know what she was saying, but of course, the communists and these demonic people on the left, they take what she said and they run with it. No, she was being honest then. That's what she meant to say. That's what she meant to say.
President Trump, on behalf of all the MAGA patriots in America, I want to thank you for the historic victory for white life in the Supreme Court yesterday.
So that comment has gotten a lot of traction and criticism on social media. Her spokesperson told various news outlets that Miller meant to say right to life, not white life. I mean, slip of the tongue or not. Explain why you say this is a real catalyst against abortion rights.
Now listen to the demonic demon, the other demonic demon respond to this. Listen to this.
I mean, this is something I've been saying for many years. The nationalist movement is a movement that comes and goes in this country. And we have statutes from the 1800s, the early 1900s, again and again. When the white population begins to dip, the fear is they will not be in majority and therefore not be in power.
So why in the world would they try to protect black baby lives? Why in the world would they do that? See, this is how you get people that are so ignorant. I mean, they're so blinded. They're so filled with hate. Why in the world would white people say we need to stop the killing of black babies in the womb if this what she's saying is true? I mean, you can't make this stuff up, people.
By the year 2045, the U.S. Census has said that this country is going to be majority people of color.
But that's not black people is what they're referring to, because they want to keep the black population less than 13%. And I'm saying, can we get to 15? Can we get to 15? They don't want the black population to exceed 14%, really. But I'm saying, can we get to 15? I think the most has ever been was like 14.1 or something like that. But they do not want the black population to reach 15. They don't want it to grow.
That is something that has fueled a lot of what drove white voters to the polls. They might not say it outright, and she was clear in what she was saying. When you saw these white domestic terrorists.
You hear this? White domestic terrorists. Well, BLM is black domestic terrorists. See, they don't ever want to bring up that. And then and let's talk about it, because she's gonna call out a specific group, the people that was, listen.
Marching through the campus and in Charlottesville and other places.
Charlottesville. You hear it?
Replacement theory that they have. What are you talking about?
So what about the Summer of Love, when black people were out, BLM was out with black people and Antifa out destroying lives, destroying businesses, homes, just everything. They say nothing. You can go to one Charlottesville and you can show 100 of the left. And they say, oh, Charlottesville, but they never acknowledge what they do.
Replacing white people, especially white men, with people of color or Jews. This is what this is about at its core.
What? So I'm gonna have to put it out there. If you're white and you're a white male, specifically a white male, do you feel this way? I mean, really? I seriously, the black population has been less than 14% forever in this country, never reaching 15%. It's never dawned on me to even think that white people want to replace me. It never dawned on me. Are there some out there? Yeah, there's a whole bunch of liberals out there, conservative Democrats. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of white Democrats out there that still don't like black people unless they can use them. There's still a whole bunch out there, but white people in general, especially conservative Christians, they're not like, oh, we need to stop the black population. If that was the case, then you would have white evangelical Christians, white Republicans, all supporting abortion because it's been genocide against the black community. It doesn't make a lick of sense. But if you're a white male, please send me the message letting me know that you feel like this.
Places, this replacement theory that they have. What are you talking about? Replacing white people, especially white men, with people of color or Jews. This is what this is about at its core. The idea that the white population is dipping. They're not having as many babies. And I'm going to say something else, Frederica, and I said before, was what I said before. They don't care about the fact that this would mean brown and black babies will be born because we have undereducation of brown.
You hear this? I mean, do you literally hear this?
Brown and black children. We have underemployment of brown and black adults. We have the prison system, and we have the lack of health care. All of those things then continue to undermine the population growth of those brown and black babies into adulthood, and therefore giving rise to more of these white adults who will stay in power, even if it's an apartheid system in which they're the minority, but then have.
Oh my goodness. You cannot make this stuff up. It's like, I know some people saying, I can't even watch it. I can't even watch it. It's just so crazy. It's so stupid. I can't even watch it. I can't even watch it. And I completely get it. These people are completely demonic. These people are 100% demonic. And it's like, I don't know how else to show it to you. And I keep exposing them. I keep showing it. The Bible talks about people being turned over to a great delusion, receiving a great delusion, where they'll believe all the wrong things are right. And that's exactly what's happening right now. That's exactly what's happening. I mean, they actually believe this stuff. And you know what? And it's not, I don't necessarily believe that they believe it. It's that they're saying it so much they want to believe it, right? They've said it so much that they're trying to make it be the truth. They're trying to make it be that. They're trying extremely hard to make it be that. But as I started tonight, and I talked about the church, we get such a positive, an extremely positive win, and this is a win for God's people this past Friday. And there's churches throughout the nation that won't even acknowledge it. What does that say? What does that say? The churches are more corrupt today because it's all about the bottom line. They want that money. They want that money. And they feel that if they sit there and tell people that the sanctity of life that God created is a precious thing, and this was a win for God and his people, they're afraid of people getting up and walking out. These are not Christians. These are not Christians. And see, this why I couldn't go and be a preacher and try to and be that type of preacher. I could not do it. I could not do it. So just imagine all of these preachers that refuse to acknowledge it, and they try to say, well, we want to respect both sides. Imagine how it's going to be when they stand before God and they call themselves preachers. They call themselves pastors. They call themselves bishops. They call themselves deacons. They call themselves priests. But yet they sit idly by and say nothing while this demonic stuff is happening. Nothing. Talking about integrity. Talk about integrity. Good night.
Thank you.